Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, does your brand need a refresh? We'll be talking to the co-founder of one of the leading marketing firms in DFW. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's I Spies.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I have to confess, I know what this company is good at doing, and I know what we're not so good at doing. We're great at getting people on the news. We're great at producing shows or podcasts for people, but where we fall a little bit short is the branding and the creative. And so I decided to invite in a creative genius, Kace Phillips. He is the co-founder of RBA. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you having me on. And I'm not sure about creative genius. It's a little much, but I'm glad to be here.
No, it's absolutely true. And when you see some of his work, you'll agree with me. Do you find that most companies kind of put off branding, put off marketing until it's too late, like something happened and they're starting to lose business?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like some of our clients and companies in general can oftentimes see marketing as either the last thing to come into the budget or the first thing to get cut. But I think the companies that are really successful right now, especially in today's digital world, are really putting marketing at the forefront of everything they do. And it doesn't matter if you're B2B or B2C. We always like to say that you're marketing to people, whether it's a consumer or somebody who's running a business. It's all about people and connecting emotionally with them. And so, for us, we see success with clients that are really involved in what they're doing, really collaborative with us. And so, the people who are putting marketing at the forefront tend to do better in business. So
I also have to point out that Kace has the voice of God. He does voiceover work, and we may have to hire him to do some voiceover work for us. One of the campaigns that I'm really impressed with is the Leaning Tower of Dallas, and everybody remembers this. We're going to roll a little video, but I want you to tell us where this idea came from for you.
Sure. So we were hired by De La Vega Capital, which is the company that's building the mixed-use development there called the Central. And so we were hired by them to film the demolition of the old tower that was there. Well, of course, the demolition didn't quite go so well. And at first, I think, there was a little bit of embarrassment for them. And then, things kind of started to pick up, and we said, we've got a real opportunity here. And so we marketed the Leaning Tower. We created a Twitter account, the Leaning Tower of Dallas. And actually, I was the writer behind and doing all the tweets there, which was really fun. And then we, put together several events at the Leaning Tower of, people, making art of the tower. There was pizza, ice cream, a DJ, things like that, really promoting the tower as it had become this phenomenon. But really with the end goal in mind of making people aware of the Central, which is what's coming there, this, great mixed-use
Which I tip my hat to you, because to me that is a creative genius, because you took this thing that could have been a big negative, like why can't they demolish this building, and turned it into a huge destination. People were traveling from all over, weren't they?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I mean, people from as far away as like New Mexico and Louisiana and stuff, and of course it was covered in Time Magazine and Washington Post and New York Times. So I mean, it was kind of Dallas's little gem, and it seems like so long ago, because that was like right before COVID hit. And it's like, can we just go to a simpler time when a leaning elevator shaft is like the biggest news of the day? But yeah, and what I loved about that was, of course, we love campaigns where it's like we get 4 weeks and a big budget to come up with these killer concepts and figure out how to produce them on TV and radio and digital and all these things. Leaning Tower was there was no time for a strategy, no time for concepting. Everything was just, very on the fly. And so I think it kind of put everybody a little bit in a vice in our agency. And it's like, how can we perform? And, thankfully, we have a great team and everybody, I think almost every person in our agency touched that project in some way or shape or form. And everybody did a great job. And then we actually just won Dallas Gold Addy for the campaign. So we're really proud of that.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It was executed flawlessly. They also have a wonderful sizzle reel. Let's go ahead and roll that now. Well, I got to compliment you. Not only do you have cool clients that you work with, you have a really cool company. I saw the guy on the skateboard. In fact, you guys have been recognized now, multiple awards. The ones that I'm aware of are the DBJ Award and Ad Age for one of the best places to work. And you've won that multiple times.
Yeah, so we won DBJ this year, and Ad Age we won Best Place to Work for 2020, and then again for 2021. And this year we were actually featured in a little article in Ad Age, and we were the number 3 best place to work for companies under 200 people. And it's something that we're really proud of, because I think, from day one, we said, what's our purpose? And that's to help good people do great things. And we've always tried to build our company around that. And then also, it's really not an award for an individual project or for an individual person. It's collectively the whole of the company. And so that's something that, makes us really proud. And somebody out there says, hey, you guys are doing something right. So,
well, and I can tell you as a boss who also prides himself on great workplace culture, it's so important these days. Employees kind of get that 7-year itch to move after about a year. And so to keep great people in place, you really have to concentrate on culture, don't you?
Yeah, and it's tough, especially in, I assume the same in PR, but in advertising, the old adage is, how do you get a raise? Change jobs, right? And so, but there's a lot of things that go into a great place to work other than money, right? We really try to treat people like individuals and really kind of look at them as more than just an employee, but how do we help them become better people, better husbands, wives, sons, daughters, friends? How do we help them get to where they want to go in their career and in their life? And hopefully it'll be with RBA. Hopefully they'll be there, 15, 20 years. But if not, we take a lot of pride that, hey, someone was only here for 3 years, but look at where they're at now, and so we really want to invest in our people. And a good buddy of mine who's a real estate investor has made a lot of investments in his life. He said the one thing that's never been a bad investment is when I invest in people. And so we really take a look at that as kind of a guiding mantra, if you will, and really try to invest in people. And again, it's not just money, but it's, how do we help their wellness? How do we help them, become more mindful people, things like that, it's all about, again, that kind of the whole individual, not just them as an employee.
That's wonderful. And I know that clients end up falling in love with employees. And so they're disappointed when a great employee leaves.
Sure.
So it really pays off to make your, make it a thank God it's Monday company is what I like to call it. We've got about 2 minutes left. So I want to give you a chance to talk about what it's like when somebody engages you for the first time. Is there a work session or strategy session, or what happens?
Yeah. So typically, the first meeting will be more discovery and us trying to learn, what are the challenges you're facing? What kind of issues do you have in your marketing? Do you have a current agency? If so, like what's working great? What isn't working great? And then really, how can we help? And really, after that discovery meeting, typically we'll go and put together a budget. And we like to take a very mathematical approach to budget. So if somebody says, we're not just throwing out, okay, you need to spend, $250,000 a year because it sounds like a good number. It's all right. Well, how much are you making today? What do you want to make by the end of this year? And then how do we fill that gap? How many customers is it going to take for you to fill that gap? How much is each customer worth? And then we try to figure out, well, we always like to say that advertising is the opportunity. You're buying the opportunity to make a sale. And so how many opportunities do we need to buy? Because only 5% of people are going to convert and fill out a form online. And then of those people, you're maybe going to close 25% of those. So we really like to take a mathematical approach and say, all right, well, if you're making $1 million today and your goal is to make $2 million, by the end of this year, how do we fill that gap of $1 million? And it's all right, well, we got to buy this many opportunities.
Very smart. We're going to end with your website. It's therba.com. Kace Phillips, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, Jeff, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.